Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles, now by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you, and as always, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, I greatly appreciate you for making our post-game show a part of your night, or if you're waking up with us on this Victory Monday, thanks for making this video a part of your Monday routine. That is not just one, not just two, not just three, not just four, not just five, not just six. 7 wins in a row for the Philadelphia Eagles. And what's so impressive about this dub for the Birds, Saquon Barkley having a historic performance, that of course is going to steal all of the headlines, and that was a sensational, historic, record-breaking performance from number 26, who continues to put together an MVP performance. But for me, I'm so impressed with how Philadelphia played in all 3 phases of the game, and how sound they were, how dominant they were from minute 1 through minute 60 on offense, defense, special teams. And if you want to factor in coaching in there, you can do that. Nick Sirianni outcoaches Sean McVay. No mainstream media outlet is going to be talking about that tomorrow, but we do here on this show because we know ball. Sirianni, 43-19 in his head coaching career. And when the Eagles go on the road to Los Angeles and they win in a dominant fashion like this, that's a credit to the head coach for having his team prepared. That's a credit to general manager Howie Roseman for how he's been able to build this team. And honestly, this scoreboard makes the loss look even better for the Rams because they scored a garbage time touchdown in this game. It was 37-13 when it mattered. When are people going to give Nick Sirianni credit for being a winner? 43-19 is no joke. You know what we also have to say here on this postgame show? And I want everybody to come together in saying this. And let's chant it together. Thank you, Giants. Thank you, Giants. Saquon Barkley is putting together one of the best running back seasons that you will see in the history of the National Football League. Most yards from scrimmage in franchise history for the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Most rushing yards in a game in the history of this great organization tonight. 302 total yards for Saquon Barkley and 2 touchdowns of 70-plus yards. He has already overtaken his amount of rushing yards as a career high as we pivot into week 13 so far this year than he has in his entire career. I said going into the year, if Saquon Barkley can stay healthy, he can be the Eagles' version of what Christian McCaffrey was for the Niners last year when he was top 5 in MVP voting, when he was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, when he compiled more than 2,000 all-purpose yards. Saquon Barkley is doing that and more. And this is what Saquon is capable of when he's able to stay healthy, when he has good complementary players around him, when he has a legitimate quarterback, when he has a great offensive line. He didn't have those things while with the New York Giants, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing right now. 26 totes, 255 big ones, 9.8 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. The breakaway speed on those 2 70-plus yard touchdown runs, when was the last time we saw a running back with 2 long touchdown runs of that caliber of 70-plus yards? He has changed the entire complexion of this Eagles offense. He's changed the entire dynamic of this Eagles team. He has helped out Jalen Hurts. He's helped out the other players behind him. And what a move for Howie Roseman to just fork over a few more $1 million as compared to what the Giants were willing to offer him, taking him away from an NFC East rival and seeing him star the way that he is starring. And as Saquon puts up this marvelous night and compiles 302 total yards, the New York Giants, led by Tommy DeVito, lost at home to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a final score of 30-7. They didn't score a touchdown until the fourth quarter, and now New York is 2-9. The Philadelphia Eagles have won 7 games in a row. They have a commanding lead of the NFC East, and they're within striking distance of the Detroit Lions, who won again, only one game back for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Philadelphia goes on the road next week to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Difficult game. But then after that, their remaining schedule is pretty easy. And after this flight to LA, they do not have to board a flight for the rest of the year. The Detroit Lions, on the other hand, have a pretty difficult schedule remaining. They have to take on some quality teams, and they play in a pretty tough and competitive division. I know there will be people who hate on the Eagles, who hate on Philadelphia. You know our motto, no one likes us, we don't care. You don't win 7 games in the National Football League unless you are legitimate, unless you are a Super Bowl contender, unless you are for real. And if the Eagles didn't prove to you that they are a legit football team, they are a legit football team. They have a top 10 quarterback. They have the best running back in the game. They have one of the best wide receiver duos in the National Football League with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. The latter did not play in this game. You have Dallas Goedert. You have one of the top 5 offensive lines. And how about the way that this defense is playing? First 2 drives, the Rams were able to move the football. After that, this Eagles defense held Los Angeles in check. This is an offense for the Rams called by Sean McVay, executed by quarterback Matthew Stafford. They have a really good 1-2 punch at that wide receiver position. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and the Rams went over on 3rd downs in this game. And the Eagles gave up, when it mattered, only 14 points. Stafford, 24-36, 243, 2 touchdowns. They had a lot of success running it early. Then the Eagles made some adjustments. Vic Fangio is just coaching his tail off right now. And what I love is contributions from everywhere on the defensive side of the football. Brandon Graham hurt his elbow. He was being embraced by a lot of Eagles players. Hopefully he's okay. In year 15, at the age of 36, he's been dominant. Milton Williams, what a season he's having. What a game he had tonight. Moro Ojomo's making plays. Jalen Carter's getting double-teamed on nearly 80% of the snaps. He's still making an impact. Josh Sweat, another sack tonight. Eagles being stout on 3rd downs. And for the night, they sack Matthew Stafford 5 times. You're seeing Quinyon Mitchell contribute. You're seeing Cooper DeJean contribute. Reed Blankenship making plays. Jacoby Dean, Zach Baun, Reed Blankenship, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The contributions are coming from everywhere. And that's why I've been a firm believer in this football team during the 7-game winning streak, because they're stacked. They're being well coached right now, led by Sirianni, Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, and the players are balling out. Nearly 500 yards of offense tonight in this ball game for the Birds. And they cover very easily and win by 17. Pretty much a 20-point win if you exclude that garbage time touchdown. Our postgame show, sponsored by DraftKings, the best sports book in the game with the best deal that any sports book has to offer. Right now, when you use the code SixersChat upon downloading the DraftKings app, and you bet $5, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets for first-time customers. Here's some more information on that. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time here, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. And if you watched our Eagles-Rams preview during the week, we do previews for every game, by the way. Myself and Chip, we were all over Coming off that mini bye, having played on Thursday Night Football last week against Washington, the Eagles -3. They cover. It was a breeze. And the over, it hits. 48.5 was that number. Odds in line, subject to change. But thank you so much to DraftKings for making tonight's Philadelphia Eagles now possible. Producer Chip, just doing a great job as the producer is talking to me during that DraftKings read. 9th most rushing yards in a game in NFL history. He was already in the MVP conversation. For those who don't think he's in the MVP conversation or didn't coming into this game, he has bolstered his MVP case. I mentioned a little bit earlier, most yards from scrimmage by an Eagle in a single game with 302. The last time that any player came close was Deuce Staley in the Pickle Juice game in 2000 against the Dallas Cowboys when he had 262. LeGarrette Blount, if there was ever a question of who is the best back in the league right now, Saquon has answered that time and time again all year. He really is him. How about this tweet? This is phenomenal. My daughter's going to be mad when I name her Saquon. I don't have kids, but when I have a daughter, hopefully, I might have to name her Saquon Barkley. Ryan Clark, Saquon is in the MVP conversation, y'all. We got to get out of this quarterback award BS. This man is the best player in football. Kyle Brandt, Saquon is my MVP. Stephen A. Smith, don't know what everybody else is saying, but it might be time to hand the league MVP to a running back for a change. His name, Saquon. This brother is ridiculous. Or as Stephen A. would say, this brother is ridiculous. It's been since 2002 that a running back has won MVP. Or 2012, excuse me. My bad. That was when Adrian Peterson won MVP. Before that, Sean Alexander. There was LaDainian Tomlinson. There was Marshall Faulk in the early 2000s, the greatest show on turf teams. If you think about the MVP conversation this year, who are the best teams in football? Detroit Lions, #1 seed in the NFC. I don't think that Jared Goff is MVP caliber. He's had a really good year, but is he an MVP? Patrick Mahomes not putting up good numbers. #1 seed in the AFC. Josh Allen having a really good year, but I don't think that he's putting up MVP caliber numbers. When you look at an MVP conversation, take that player away from that team, how would that team fare? Of course, if you take those quarterbacks off those teams, they wouldn't be as good, right? But how about how that player is able to move the needle for a football team, especially year over year? The way that Saquon Barkley has moved the needle for this Eagles team, it's different. It's visible to the eye. And what he's doing when you watch him, my goodness, the jump cuts, running with power, running with precision, running with breakaway speed, running with elusiveness, making plays in the pass game, run game, pass protection. Saquon Barkley playing like a gangster here in 2024. So if you weren't buying the MVP talk, you better be buying the MVP talk right now. Brandon Graham injury news. This sucks. Torn triceps out for the year. He was listed as out for the game due to an elbow injury. He tore his triceps, out for the rest of the year. That is a long-term injury. Philadelphia's already without Bryce Huff at that edge rusher spot. And now they're without Brandon Graham, who tonight was a beast. This year, age 36 season, year 15, a beast. He was playing in a way where Philadelphia was going to have to approach him and say, you're a team captain, you're a team leader, you're a heartbeat for this club. We can't let you retire. But now he tore the Achilles in 2021. Now he tears the triceps in 2024. 2 season-ending injuries for Brandon Graham. That stinks for this team. And now they're going to need to get contributions from that edge rusher spot and veteran leadership from a guy like BG. That was invaluable. He was destructing what the Rams wanted to do on offense as a player against the run and against the pass. He was in the grill of Matthew Stafford, making plays on the front side, back side. He was great. And we started to feel a little bit worried about that when almost every single player on that Eagles sideline was going up to BG and trying to embrace him as he went to the locker room. He knew it was something severe at that time. So that sucks. This is like when the Eagles in 2017 lost Jason Peters for the year. They carried his jersey out of the tunnel prior to the game. If the Eagles can make it back to that spot, they got to do the same thing with 55. And hopefully that's not the last that we see of BG, because he was having a tremendous, tremendous season. Elsewhere, let me just think about some numbers here. Jalen Hurts keeping the ball out of harm's way. A touchdown through the air, found A.J. Brown, who, by the way, on that touchdown reception that he had, that's only his 4th red zone target of the year. Kellen Moore has to do a better job of targeting A.J. Brown in that red area. He's a special player. Hurts now, during the 7-game winning streak, has a combined 18 touchdowns to 2 giveaways. Playing smart, clean, efficient, decisive, confident football, keeping the ball out of harm's way. At times, does he hold on to the ball a little bit too long? For sure. Did he throw the ball away a little bit too prematurely in this game tonight when he could have had A.J. Brown open in that end zone? No doubt. But it beats the contrary. It beats what we saw earlier this year when Hurts was reckless with the football. A.J. Brown, 6 catches, 109 yards, allowing Devontae Smith to rest up a little bit. 18.2 yards per catch in that aforementioned touchdown. And Saquon, through the air, 4 catches for 47 yards. Outside of that, you didn't get a lot of contributions. Dallas got it, 4 catches, 19. Jahan Dotson, 1 for 4. He's barely done anything this year. The Eagles defense, though, they were just so stout. And Vic Fangio has this defense playing at an extraordinarily high level. From where they were last year to where they are this year, it's one of the most fascinating turnarounds I've ever seen in my lifetime watching football. They were so bad. Couldn't get stops in 3rd down. Couldn't get stops in the red zone. They couldn't tackle. They were a leaky valve, a leaky sink, and they were soft as charming. And for them to be the number 1 overall defense now for 7 straight victories, it's not a fluke. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. They're stopping the run. They're making adjustments. Great linebacker play from Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond. Nakobe Dean continues to develop right before our very eyes. This is the linebacker who was the best linebacker at Georgia when he was playing collegiately as a champion. 2 TFLs, a sack. When Vic Fangio wants to use him as a blitzer, he's used great. Cooper DeJean had 2 pass breakups, one of which was on Puka Nacua. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, after a bad start, he's been so good for this team on the back end. Quinyon Mitchell with the pass breakup, nearly had another pick, gave up a touchdown in garbage time to Cooper Kupp, but he continues to be in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Isaiah Rodgers came in, and he played very well in place of Darius Slay, who was out with a concussion. We'll see what his status is long term. Milton Williams, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs. Brandon Graham, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, 3 quarterback hits. If that's the way that he goes out, BG, we will miss you. Josh Sweat with the sack. And Jalen Carter, he'll only tally 1 total tackle. It was solo. He's taken on double teams. He's penetrating the offensive line. He's causing havoc. That's a classic example of a defensive player making an impact beyond the box score and the opposing team having to game plan for him throughout the week. They double team him all the time because they knew that he can blow things up. Great Eagles win. Very impressive Eagles win. Decisive, clean, complimentary. And the Eagles continue to play complimentary football. And now Philadelphia against the Baltimore Ravens next week. Going to be a good one. Ravens take on the Chargers on Monday Night Football. Short week for Baltimore. One-word reaction to this Eagles big win. For me, dominant is one word. And if I can use another, Saquon. Saquon. Go Birds.